Let me first of all welcome you to Cyprus. It's a great pleasure to have you here. And we started our discussions just some time ago. It's 56 days before the presidency of the Council of the EU, and we have the opportunity to continue our deliberations later on over dinner. It's a very significant period for us in terms of the progress of the preparations for the presidency, but it's also happening during a time where so much is developing in our region and beyond. First, we focused on the priorities as regards the presidency, which is going to be a results-oriented and close coordination, of course, with the institutions and with the High Rep. The focal point remains, of course, Ukraine, and we want to shed light at the same time in the relation with countries in the Middle East and the Gulf region. In relation to enlargement, very clearly we believe this is a strategic tool for the European Union and something upon which we should be investing, always and subject to the relevant rules for accession and on the merit-based formula. Secondly, we focused on Ukraine. We express once again our full solidarity and our steadfast support and unwavering commitment to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. This is a point of principle and our compass, and Cyprus' own experience with the aggression, the invasion and the continuing occupation by Turkey for 51 years dictates this approach. EU should double up on sanctions, but also on countering the circumventions of those sanctions, including the shadow fleet. The EU accession path is also a very strong component for the resilience and future security of Ukraine. Kaja, you are personally committed to the principles of public international law and the values of the European Union that correspond to these principles. And your approach in relation to Ukraine is an example of leadership, and it's a leadership that cannot and does not have double standards. So on this basis, I want to thank you for your stand as regards the Cyprus problem, which is something that you have discussed in detail as well. In our opinion, the EU-Turkey relation is full of potential. There are so many choices that have been created and are available to Turkey. We are open to expanding on those possibilities. The choices exist. Turkey needs to make a decision. And the decision that Turkey needs to make in relation to its future relationship with the EU is one that passes necessarily through Cyprus. This is something that relates to yesterday's, to the report in relation to enlargement, and we continue our approach in relation to negotiations on the basis of the UN Security Council. This is the only possible basis for the resolution of the Cyprus problem. In that light, I want to make reference to an issue that is creating a lot of tension and friction and sentiment here in Cyprus, and this is the ongoing arrest of the 5 Greek Cypriots from July 19th. They are being, in effect, kidnapped and held hostages by Turkey and the occupying regime, and this is something that we are asking for EU support and applying the necessary pressure to have their immediate release. Finally, we focus on the Middle East in relation to Gaza. We agree that there is now hope, and we need to work to make this into an optimistic scenario. We need to focus on implementing all the elements of the plan by President Trump. The EU needs to be actively involved in this, needs to be present, and the EU should not be seen as merely the financier of all the efforts. We have a role to play, and the High Representative is a person to play that role. Cyprus has its own approach based on its own capacities and capabilities in relation to the humanitarian front, in relation to reconstruction, also in relation to security. And our contacts, network and effort are at the disposal of the European Union, and to Kaja personnel. 2 days ago, we had the arrival of a vessel from Cyprus in the context of the maritime corridor to Ashdod. Almost 1,000 tons of aid have reached Ashdod and are on their way to going to Gaza. From departure to clearance, everything was done in 3 days. So this is an effort that continues. We're up to 27,000 tons as we speak, including shelter equipment as well. Finally, in relation to Syria, we agree that we need to do a lot more to ensure the recovery and support the recovery for the Syrian people. Cyprus, from the first moment, expressed this willingness to contribute in every way possible. The only thing we ask in exchange is good neighborly relation with a close neighbor of ours. And that, of course, starts with full respect for international law and for UNCLOS. Dear Kaja, once again, I would like to welcome you to Cyprus, to the Ministry. It's a great pleasure to have you here, and rest assured that we will be standing next to you in everything that you are doing on behalf of the European Union.